Hello, my name is Ben Cook and today I'm going to be talking to you about Management Studio and how we can run an estate assessment using this tooling. But let me start out by saying that Management Studio has a huge amount of functionality and it's typically used to manage an entire transformation process or evergreen process. So the estate assessment is really just a small slice of that, but some of our customers and partners have said they just want to do the assessment using our tooling, so that's what I'm talking about today. So how do we do that? First things first, we need to stand up a server, and that can be on-prem, it can be in the cloud, and that's where we install our product. We require Microsoft Internet Information Services and SQL Server, and that takes about an hour. And then we configure the connectors, so we install them and point them at Active Directory and Microsoft Config Manager, and maybe some HR data as well, and that again takes about an hour. And then we run those connectors to build out that data set. Depending on the size of the environment, that might take 30 minutes or so. And then finally, we're ready to do our assessment. So we can start reviewing the estate of data and build a plan to progress. So let's take a look at some sample data. And here we can see the dashboard. Now this can be configured to show various different sets of data, such as the top 10 applications across our estate. But let's dig into this data in a bit more detail. So I'm going to pop out my user migrations here. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at one of our users. So Brian here, if I double click on Brian, we'll be able to see things such as the applications which Brian has been using. In this case, there are 61, and the devices he's been using. And of course, if I want to see this device in more detail, I can click the blue button and that will show me that Windows 7 Enterprise device with the users of the device and the apps and so on. But let's do something useful with this data. What about if I want to think about what are my best next steps in terms of migrating some people? So what I can do is I can come into my list of users, but this time I want to focus on a specific department. So I'm going to come into my blueprints, I'm going to look at corporate, and I'm going to go to the finance department, and that will load up the 931 people who work in finance. Once I've got that list, I want to understand which are the very best apps to focus on so that I can migrate the largest number of people early on in the process. So I'm going to run this projection report. So let's change the applications per week to 10 and then run the report. So the projection report shows me which are my very best 10 applications to look at each week if I want to migrate the largest number of people. The blue columns here are weekly efforts, and the green line shows me how many people are ready at the end of that week. So at the end of week 4, I'm ready to migrate 648 people if I get the first 40 apps ready as recommended by this report. In terms of percentages, that's about 70% of our users ready with just 4 weeks worth of effort. And I can see exactly which those applications are that I should be looking at. That's displayed here. And I can see my user migrations who are projected ready in the user migrations screen here. Another great report we've got in this system is Windows 11 hardware compatibility. So if I come into my devices, look at all devices, again, I just want to look at the finance department. So I've already filtered my devices on finance, and now I can run that Windows 11 compatibility report. So I'll select those devices, and in here, I've got my Windows 11 compatibility report. And here I can see that the vast majority of my devices are not actually Windows 11 compatible. That's that last column there. And we can start to see the reasons why. So in this case, it's quite an old estate. So the TPM version is too old. We don't have secure boot, and neither do we have UEFI enabled. So this is a really good way of getting started with planning for maybe a Windows 11 migration. I hope you found the video useful. If you need to get in touch, please visit our website at www.managementstudio.com.